Good morning and happy Friday. Always nice to share the morning with you here on 3+U. We trust you have big plans ahead for your weekend. It looks to be a very nice one, especially tomorrow. We're happy to kick the show off though this morning with a woman who has been a good friend of ours, and if you've been in Chattanooga for any length of time, no doubt you know the kindness of Susan Matthews, who is back on the show. Typically she's here talking about her nonprofit, Love Without Reason, but she has this beautiful daughter who is a rising junior at UTC and has an equally kind heart. So she's here on behalf of her daughter and her own nonprofit, really, called People Not Products. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Julie.
So remind me of how your daughter started this, because she was a student at Ottawa High School, right? When she began this?
That's right. She was a senior at Ottawa High School and just wanted to put on a project that would bring awareness to a problem, a social issue, and she chose to put on People Not Products for raising awareness about human trafficking.
I wanted that backstory there because I think it speaks to, Sean Phipps was on with me the other day from Chattanooga Tourism, and we were talking about the Heart Gallery, if you're familiar with it, and part of our conversation was that Chattanooga is really known as being a place where you can have an idea and find a way to see it come to fruition.
So true.
And that's true for a teenager as well.
That's so true.
But it made sense because your daughter learned an awful lot in her research about the proclivity of people being turned into products. And it's not always across the globe, sometimes it's right here.
That's right. And I think it started when she came to the Love Without Reason Center in Mumbai. We have a center called the Project Butterfly Center where we work with the women who are trapped in sexual slavery, teaching them how to read and write, teaching them skills about sewing so that they're able to build a life and break the cycle of slavery. So she's developed a relationship with the children that have been growing up there, her peers in her same age group, and that relationship has grown and budded, and then it just planted seeds in her heart that how can I be an advocate and what can I do even for my community in Chattanooga, because human trafficking is a global issue.
I want to be very careful, I think, how I say this, but I think all of us tend to kind of live our lives in a pattern. You know, you kind of have the same routine where you go to work and school and the grocery store and you come home, and so if it's not on your particular beaten path, you might not see it.
Right.
I was somewhere in town the other day and it was eye-opening for me, I have to tell you, because it was just a stone's throw from the tourism section of Chattanooga, and yet it was a whole different way of life for the people living there. I won't say where, but it was. So to come to this event on February 10th, people are going to learn a lot about what life really is for other people.
They are, and it's also things I feel like that every age group can benefit from, because we're talking about internet safety, we're talking about addiction, the TBI will be presenting on cyber crimes and human trafficking. So from a local, from a national and international perspective, everyone can benefit.
Talk about the international perspective, because that's where you had this amazing speaker coming in.
Sure. So our keynote is Talia Hansen, and she actually was one of the disappeared children from El Salvador's civil war in the 1980s, 1990s. And during that civil war, many of the children from El Salvador became orphans immediately because their parents were murdered right in front of their eyes. And the orphanages were overflowing. She was one of the fortunate ones that was adopted by an American couple, and she was raised here, but her journey to get here to America was, she went through a lot. She went through a lot, and she's going to be sharing her story.
And she'll be speaking.
Yes, ma'am.
By the way, this is on the 10th of February at the Embassy Suites out on Lifestyle Way.
That's
right by the Ruth's Chris, if you know where that is, from 9 until 3. So is it set up to be various seminars, Susan? You can come for a little while, or do you stay the whole day?
Well, we would prefer that you come for the whole day, because we'll have some, if you register, we're able to have meal and everything. We can plan all of that accordingly. So it's, and it'll be broken up, and there'll be breaks in between. And there's also vendor booths available, so you'll have access to that once you register. You mentioned the internet safety. I mean, that's something that every parent worries about. Their children might not yet, but every parent certainly does. Absolutely, and I think the subtlety of human trafficking is something that even employers need to know about. You know, there was something recent with a child in an amusement park, that an amusement center here locally, that one of the staff apparently was trying to transact giving more tickets to the child if he would be allowed to touch her. And that's something that, you know, employers need to know about, that this is your staff. Our staff can actually benefit from a training here.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, who do you think that this day is really most suited for?
I mean, I feel like it's all age groups. There's something for students, there's something for parents, for employers, for the public, for educators. We all need this, and if we all know and recognize human trafficking, we know what to do and who to report to and how to keep our children safe. I want
to dovetail for a second. Well, real quick, do people need to register for this?
Yes. You can go to peoplenotproducts.org.
Okay, and is it a cost?
A $25 fee.
Okay, and we'll show you that at the end. So, but while I quickly have time, I want to dovetail into something on a more personal note for you. So, the beginning of the year, often people are looking to have all types of resolutions, and sometimes it is to fulfill a long-held wish.
Sure.
You and your family began Love Without Reason years ago, and I know that your son Philip, I'm sure, was your driving inspiration for it.
Absolutely.
But here you are, an example of somebody, and you can explain what Love Without Reason is, but you took an idea and you didn't let go. Was that difficult at times, Susan, to hold on to it?
Absolutely. I'm only human, right? We're only human, and you know, we started Love Without Reason because of the journey of our son, who was born with multiple craniofacial birth defects. Philip lived for 19 years. He's with the Lord now. But his drive was, you know, until the world is cleft free, I want to work. And that's the promise we made to him on the last day, that we would work until there are no more sold into slavery. And we're going to continue this with Love Without Reason. But yes, there are days that are very hard. It's very challenging to keep moving forward, but we remember the promise and we keep moving.
So if you are in a position to come out to the Embassy Suites on February 10th from 9 until 3, you know you're going to learn a lot. You're going to leave feeling more empowered in your own life, and maybe what drives you to come that day is because you have your own passion that you would like to see fulfilled for you or someone that you love, and Susan and her family might be a real inspiration for you in that regard. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Save big at Ashley Home Store's 2 biggest days to save. Save 25% off store-wide with no minimum purchase. Find this queen bed now only $6.99, or this home office desk now only $4.79. Saturday and Sunday only at Ashley Home Store.
Your host, Michael B. Jordan.
Don't do that, Colin.
With musical guest, Lil Baby.
That's crazy.
My name is Thomas Magnum. I'm a private investigator. My buddies and I help those in